I'd like to welcome everybody to the Used Automotive Parts Recycling Advisory Board meeting. We'd like to thank TDLR for having us once again. Those of you on the YouTube channel will be sure to speak into the microphone so you can hear us. And if anyone can, everyone can silence their cell phones, we'd appreciate it. Anna, if you'd like to do roll call.
Presiding Officer Chad Taramina,
Here.
Bruce Ormond, Byron Farrell,
Here.
Colleen Thomas, Brian Burgess.
Here.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you, Anna. Next, we'll do our approval of minutes. We'll cover the last two meetings, which will be May 23rd, 2018, and December 3rd, 2018. We'd like to get a motion for approval.
I move that we accept the approval for the minutes.
Can I get a second on that?
Yes.
Approval of the minutes. Next will be our public comment. Any person wishing to address the advisory board should complete a public comment form and submit it to the advisory board support staff. Do we have anybody? All right, we'll get right into it. We'll cover staff reports, briefing from staff, and discussion. And this will be the licensing division.
Good morning, board members. My name is Laura Hernandez with the licensing department. I submitted the licensing statistics for the used auto parts recycler program. There's the 2018 and 2019 quarters 1, 2, and 3. Quarter 4 wasn't available yet at the time that this report was due. You can see the numbers are pretty much the same. We did put a disclaimer that since the used auto parts recycle employees were no longer to be regulated after September 1st, we stopped processing applications and renewals on July 22nd. So really for the employees, there wouldn't be any other numbers for the fourth quarter. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
You guys got anything? Nope. Obviously, it was going to go down.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next will be our customer service division.
Good morning, Mary Winston, TDLR. I'm going to give the customer service report today. You have a copy in your information, and the report consists of contacts. Contacts in your program used auto parts recyclers for fiscal year 2018. We have emails, August, kind of medium high, I don't want to say high, but 134 for the program, and calls 94. Fiscal year 19, we're up a little bit on the emails. Emails for 2018, 40, and calls 94. The total was 134. And the total for July of 2019 fiscal year, which we just entered 2020 fiscal year, September 1, we'll have new numbers going forward. The total was 182 contacts, broken up by 94 emails and 88 calls. As you can see, it's kind of cyclical, but the group doesn't have a ton of contacts, so we like to think that our email and our information, our website is doing its job. If you have any questions, you can give them to me and I will forward them to customer service.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next will be our enforcement division.
Good morning. I'm Tony Reed, one of the prosecutors in the enforcement division. We submitted our report, couple case highlights. Agreed orders are when the respondent and the department agree on the penalty, and it goes to the executive director and it's approved. or he makes a change. We had some expired licenses, and then we had a couple licenses that were denied because of criminal activity, specifically theft. We opened 52 cases, resolved 47. We had 6 final orders. Total penalties 5,250, and we collected that amount. For fiscal year 2018, we opened 63 cases, closed or resolved 63 cases. There were 15 final orders. Assessed 25,150 in penalties and collected 21,300. And any questions?
Were these cases all a result of complaints?
I don't know that without looking. I didn't look that information up. I can get that if you want. It's mostly complaints.
Okay, so there could be some just inspections and some complaints on those
Oh,
cases?
definitely some inspections.
Okay. Got it. Anything, guys? We appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
And presiding officer, we definitely, Mr. Heath wouldn't know that offhand, but since you requested it, we'll definitely have it for your next meeting.
Perfect, thank you. All right, next we'll do our Regulatory Program Management Division.
Good morning. Sorry.
Good morning, Todd.
Regulatory Program Management Division. We were working with the bill implementation team to provide information for the APR licensing once the rules go into effect. We worked on fiscal impact forms, on how that's going to impact various stakeholders fiscally, including TDLR. We don't get a lot of questions for APR, but when we do, we handle them. Are there any questions?
Let's think for a minute. I don't think we have anything. Obviously, it's going to get updated. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Next will be our Field Inspections Division.
Good morning, Chairman, Board. My name is Julianne Crocker. I'm representing the Field Inspections Division this morning. And as you can see in our report, we have our top violations. These are what we find most often when we go out to inspect auto parts recycler facilities. We have had some personnel changes since you all met. We've hired several inspectors. We've had several move on to our enforcement division as investigators. We did lose a regional manager, and I would like to recognize that Ron Garrick accepted the position as North Region Manager beginning June 17th. And then we've got additional inspectors that we've hired on this last fiscal year. So we're excited to have close to everybody on board. And then as you can see, we've got our statistics for the year, and we've done almost double the number of inspections. Any questions?
I know a couple of years ago we had inspectors go to one of our board members' facility just to see what we do firsthand. I don't know if that's something that I can inquire about, or maybe entertain that option of having inspectors come out to one of our facilities.
We would be happy to do that.
I would really, really like that. But I mean, that's just something to see firsthand
Absolutely.
before an inspection obviously happens, so.
We do try to work with different facilities when we're conducting our UAPR training for the inspectors. So that is a time we have that opportunity, but if you would like for us to come and visit with you to kind of go through that process, we'd be happy to show you that. So
be
I'll
great.
leave you
Is
my
that-
business card and we can
Absolutely.
schedule
I
that.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
No,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, next will be our executive office.
Good morning, Mary Winston again, TDLR. We're going to start with personnel updates. So since our last meeting, we do have a new, not so new anymore because he came in kind of trial by fire. Mike Aris-Mendez took the position of Deputy Executive Director. His name may be familiar because Mike was previously the chair of our commission. A wonderful and powerful position, and that paid just the same thing that you get paid. This is kind of a first for TDLR because he could see it from the outside looking in and did a fantastic job because was here many years in that position as a commission member and then as the chair. But Haiti's not here today. He's downtown doing other very important work, and they left me here to do this very important thing, to greet you all this morning and give you the update. Came in during the legislative session. I joked that he started his first day, got a cup of coffee at the legislature, and didn't leave until the session was over. This was different for him because as a commission member and board chair of that commission, that was an experience he hadn't had. And sometimes we have our government relations staff and our executive director there until whatever hour of the day or night they need to be there. I just saw Eric Beverly, who's government relations, peek around the corner. He's very well versed in how that process goes. And Mike, great job as chair of our commission. Excellent, great job as deputy executive director. He jumped right in and learned a whole bunch of stuff he couldn't see from the outside. But I think he has enjoyed it, and we're trying to at least slow that drip that we're giving to him into a drip instead of drinking from the whole water hose. Updates from the session. Basically, we had a really good session, TDLR did, and we are going to be taking on some new responsibilities as per our directive from the legislature. We'll have more information on that as we move forward. We are now regulators of motor fuel quality and motorcycle safety. Those motorcycle safety specifically will be implemented a little later. It'll be fiscal year 2020 or September 1, which would then be the next fiscal year, but still in 2020. And we're working with the Texas Department of Agriculture and implementing the things that we need to do over here since the Ledge has gifted us with that program. Communication outreach. We went over this a little bit with the customer service report, but we also like to keep numbers. It just helps us. It's not scientific per se, but it's a factual snapshot into how the licensed body is reaching out to us. Is our information on our website effectively touching people, and how are you reaching out to get that information? From March to the end of August 2019, the website had over 4,600 views, about 25 per day. 53% use a desktop, 44% from a smartphone, 3% from a tablet. This is important to our people because it depends on what kind of technology we use, which I do not understand at all, but to reach you in what formats best work for your program. The top reasons for visiting the site, 512, look for frequently asked questions. 402, administrative rules. 303 forms, 224 law, and rule adoption justification. We had over 100 people to come, customers or stakeholders to come to our website to look it up. So this is our report for today. If you have any questions or if you want any additional information moving forward, let me know and we'll get that for you.
Perfect. Thank you, Mary. All right, next, Mark will come up and discuss our possible recommendations on the proposed amendments and go over our draft proposed rules.
Okay. For the record, Mark Gladney, General Counsel's Office. We're here to discuss the rule changes, the proposed rule changes that have come about as a result of the implementation of House Bill 2847, Article 15, in this last session. So we've gotten our marching orders from the legislature to make some changes in the APR industry. Due to the amendments to Chapter 2309 Occupations Code, the objective of those changes were basically to repeal the licensing requirement and fees for employees working at UAPR facilities, repeal the provisions requiring risk-based inspections and fees for repeat violators of Chapter 2309 of the Occupations Code, and then also to increase the periodic inspection time period from 2 years to 4 years. So since it's your first look at these proposed rules, I'm going to briefly go through them. There's not really that many changes. Most of this is half of the rules are being amended to comport with the House bill, and then we have 4 that are being repealed also to comport with the House bill. So I kind of briefly want to go through them quickly and see if you all have any questions or comments that are associated with the changes. And then I'll also note that we have an additional change that didn't make it onto the proposed rules, but I'll talk to you about that when I get to it. Okay. Okay. So in your briefing books, you have the proposed rule package, and I'd like to start basically with Section 8715, approval, issuance, or denial of license. Is there any questions or comments on the change that was made there in subsection B? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move on. And remember, all these changes are strictly due to bill implementation. There are no changes that are outside of the Article 15 changes in House Bill 2847. All of these are simply the changes that the legislature has mandated. Okay, moving on to 87.24, a used auto parts recycling employee license required. That's been repealed due to the bill. Any questions or comments? Okay, moving on. 87.25, used auto parts recycling employee license requirement. Again, that's been repealed as well. Okay, moving on. 87.26, used auto parts recycling employee license renewal. Again, that's been repealed as well due to the House bill. No questions or comments. I'm going to move on to 87.44, inspections dash general. Are there any questions or comments on the change made to subsection A, which is basically just eliminated the reference to risk-based a risk-based schedule for inspection, since those have been repealed?
A quick comment on A. I don't know if it's more of the enforcement side, but the questions that we have a lot of are the inspections, the periodical inspections as a result of complaint. I know there's always questions and comments from our industry, and probably a lot of industries, of will there be more inspections not as a result of just a complaint, or inspections of a facility within the area as well as another in our industry within that same area. I mean, is that something that...
That's probably going to be a question outside my area.
Okay.
Enforcement may be able to answer that. I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
Tony, did you have any comment on that?
I would expect that the number of.
I'm sorry, Tony, could you go to the mic for our listeners at home?
Sorry, Tony, I should have brought this up earlier, but I know this is a big question within our industry, and it's something that we have a lot of recyclers within our cities, and then there's some that are right down the road from us, and just like anything, we're doing everything right, we're to our T on everything, but yet you've got somebody drive by that just is just flying under the radar and just not doing it right. And you see the things. So I guess a question with our industry is this particular section always going to be as a result of a complaint versus periodically inspecting another facility and being, somewhere in that area to where you can inspect the other facilities that are in that area that you did not. Does that make sense?
Actually, Mary Winston, TDLR, we have Julianne moving up. That's going to be a field inspections question. So, Tony, sorry we called you up there, but stay close. Julianne is right behind you, and she's going to provide a response for that.
Yes, so there's some interesting things with inspections and investigations. They do fall very closely, but we will continue doing periodic inspections. So if there's, every facility ideally will get their inspection, although based on the rules, we'll be moving from every 2 years to an every 4-year period. And that's based on the number of times we get violations that are referred to enforcement. So we've seen those numbers decline, and therefore we felt confident that we could extend that period. However, that being said, I believe the statute still allows us to go in more frequently if we see that if problems tend to arise, we can go back and revisit that extended.
In fact, the statute says at least every 4 years, so there could be an inspection within that period of time if there's justification, I'd assume. Would that be correct?
That's correct. So did that answer the question?
Yeah, it's aimed towards one facility you're talking about, one inspection of a facility going back to that same facility, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
We're still in section 87.44 down to subsection E, where the reference to risk-based inspections has been removed due to the repeal by the House bill. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, moving on. Okay, this is the section where I'll need to make a correction. 87.45 inspections periodic. Subsection A reads, each used auto parts recycling business shall be inspected at least once every 2 years. Well, we just heard the statute says at least once every 4 years. So the change will be made from every 2 years to every 4 years. That will be the change that will be made on here.
Good with that?
And in that same section, 87.45, we had eliminated subsection E again. That's referring to risk-based schedules, which, again, have been repealed. Any questions on that section or comments?
No, sir.
Okay, moving on. 87.46, again, this is the repeal of the risk-based inspections. That entire section is repealed due to House Bill 2847. Okay? All righty, then moving now to 87.85 for fees. We had made a change to subsection A2 to eliminate the fees associated with used auto parts recycling employee licensing, because a House Bill 2847 has repealed that. And in subsection 2B, the risk-based inspections, or actually subsection B, the risk-based inspections has been eliminated as well. So that's gone, the $150. And then we had re-lettering in subsections C and D and E. And that is pretty much about it with regard to the proposed rule package that is being brought about due to bill implementation. What staff would be asking for is a motion to approve for publication of this proposed rule package, and we can move forward that way. The schedule for these rules, the proposed rules are targeted to be published in the Texas Register on or about October 4th. The public comment period will be, of course, 30 days, so that will close on November 4th. And It is scheduled, the rule package is scheduled for commission meeting for adoption on or about December 10th, and we're looking at an effective date for these rules of January 15th, 2020. So that's the schedule as it appears right now, subject to change.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you, Mark.
I move that we accept these changes as proposed.
Say again, I'm sorry.
I move that we accept these changes as proposed.
Approved.
Are you making a motion to?
No, I mean, we approve it now?
uh,
You made a motion
To
for
approve, to
approval.
approve
Yes.
for publication?
Yes, sir.
Did we get a second?
Second.
You good?
Okay.
You good?
Vote?
We do that right? We good?
The vote.
Okay. So we'll vote, again, we'll vote for approval?
Aye.
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 Okay, and just for clarification purposes, you're approving for publication of this rule package
Right.
with the amendment that I had proposed to 8745A.
Correct. On the 4 years, yes.
Okay, I think we're good then. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All right, recommendations for agendas on the, or we're still, are you done, Mark? Okay. I guess it's a pretty quick meeting.
Very good.
Recommendations for item agendas for the next board meeting.
Mary Winston, TDLR. Mark just went over some dates that we have, publication, the time for publication, when it's that time period close. At that point, Mark would come back, we would all come back, and Mark would come back in and bring any comments that were received to discuss with the board. So we really are looking at a date in November because public comment period closes November 4th. But at this time, because as we're whispering over here, at this time, let us, if possible, November's kind of we're heading towards the holiday season. Let us poll you, if Anna could do that, give you a call, and check into your schedules for when the next meeting would be.
That'd be great. That's
Okay.
a tough month, obviously. Okay.
Oh, and with the recommendation of discussing new rules and any other, or the public comment we receive from the posting in the register, that's one recommendation. We will have, of course, reports from staff, and we can also get additional items. If you find some and contact us, or if staff has additional items for that meeting, we can contact you at that time as well.
Gotcha. You guys good with that? Okay. I believe that's it. Anybody have anything else?
The only thing we have is that Mark Gladney would like to know if this is a record.
This is a record.
I don't know, it's a record. It's a good meeting. It's a good meeting. I
Good.
think
Good
that's what
short
we
meeting.
have.
I was just wondering if this is a record for any advisory board meeting.
We will look into that for Mr. Gladney. I'm just kidding.
All right, we'll adjourn. We appreciate everybody.
Thank you.